morning, last day of June, Tuesday, June 30th. It is really hard to believe that we are halfway through the year. We were talking about it this morning in the gym. Obviously, with all that has been going on this year for everybody in our area, has certainly had its share of. Middle Tennessee's had the crap beat out of it this year. But everybody around the planet, I mean, that's kind of what is unique about this situation, is that the pandemic, the effects of this has been felt globally over a myriad of different things. So we were talking about how, yeah, it's already 6 months, but it's like the last 3 months have seemed like forever. In some aspects, that's true. It's been quite an arduous thing, and very much about endurance. Excuse me. But I also put in perspective, 6 months ago, we were all drinking old fashions at our annual New Year's Eve party that we throw at the house for all the gym folks and our friends and family. And it's just hard to believe that, that much time has already gone by. So, it kind of gives us some perspective, because this is something that is felt across the globe, not just in Mount Juliet or in Middle Tennessee. So, the other thing, I watched Jennifer posted an IGTV video that SBD had made. And those guys do such a tremendous job with their videos. It's just amazing. And something to the effect of "when you are ready." And you go back and you see, some of the videos, especially of Jennifer, obviously, because, we train with her and see her, almost on a daily basis. And I remember when that video was made, and, all the things surrounding it and those types of things. And you see people that, normally you don't get to see other at these events, and obviously Nationals this year being canceled, Worlds, Team USA's not sending a team to Worlds. That's been postponed from May, lots of stuff. A lot of people on the team, both home and on the internet, have been affected by this. And we don't, there are people that I'm accustomed to seeing 3-6 times a year, and we're just not going to see them. And that's tough. Even though we don't get to see them very often, getting to see them keeps us from missing them. Gino and I have got to be pretty good buddies, and we've twice thought we were going to have a meet here, and he was going to come, and he was going to stay with us, and I was really excited about that, because he shares a passion with the bourbon like I do, and I was really excited for him to be at the Ogre compound. Larry and Priscilla, I've known Priscilla for years and years and years, and I've gotten a great rapport with them, and Larry and I also share a passion for beer, and then he brews it, and so it's really cool, and unique bourbons and stuff like that. There's several people, Susie, and Matt Gary, and all the competitors, Marissa Enda, a lot of times we don't get to see, and Aaron lives in Knoxville, and a lot of times I don't get to see him, and because he's a busy guy and he travels a lot. If I don't see him unless it's usually at a meet. I think he's been to my house one time, So, again, this is all about keeping some perspective and thinking about, how this is affecting everyone and not just ourselves. And that brings me to one more thing. All of us have been affected by this. And, it's not just the pandemic, it's not just the storms that have hit here Obviously, there's a lot of things, even more than the civil rights issues. They're humanitarian issues. And I'm not insensitive to that. I don't necessarily agree with everything, but I don't have to. And that brings me to, even within our, team and family network, which has grown to about 60 people, both home and abroad. And we have such a blend and mix of people. I think we sometimes take it for granted. And here's what I want to remind everybody of. Understand what brought you together, because the very thing that brought you together should be at the forefront of your mind. I didn't say that you allow bad things to happen, you allow people to be bad people, but generally, all things considered, these people are the same people they were when you met them, and you were fine with them. And think about how we all came together at the beginning of the pandemic, and it became really about taking care of each other. This movement should be part of that, and we have to do it without politicizing it to the point that it becomes such a divisive thing that two things: we start disliking people that we were close to. I'm not saying when people do bad things, then we should react and adjust to them. No question about it. But philosophical differences are something, to me, that can be secondary, and by and large should be secondary. And again, it's about what brought you together and what is your why, and do those things. Are these people that think differently than you do, that have different religions, different genders, different sexual orientation, all different skin, whatever the case may be? What brought you together, and why? And that should be at the forefront of your mind. And that we have to learn from each other, that we're open-minded enough to learn from each other. At the end of the day, regardless of our differences, that we still take care of one another and love one another. And I'm going to say this over and over again. We are charged with taking care of one another. So I just want to leave you with that, and that you remember why you do what you do, and why you do it with the group of people that you do. And that we understand that these are the things that will also enact change, and we can do it being nonviolent. We can do it by being smarter. We can do it by showing the change and being the change that we want to be, and be about it versus talking about it. And so that's kind of my message for the day. I'll do a different video log about training as if that were important, but I just want people to think about that, because there's still so much turmoil in the world, and I want to see people do well. I want to see people the guys that I competed against at Worlds. I watch their videos. Like Valentin is a great example. I wanted to win. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to beat those guys, and I did not have the greatest meet, and I managed to come out on top. But I tell you what, I love the fact that Valentin is coming back from some injury. He thought he was going to retire, and you see him training, and he's doing well. But here's what I love about Valentin more than anything. There's two things. One is, when we were weighed in, I asked, how did I do? And I was told that I was the heaviest one. And Valentin, all of us are in the hallway, and of course they're all super heavyweights, so there's nobody little. And Valentin said in English, "Big boy," and that's what they called me for the rest of the meet. So, that's kind of a cool thing. But the thing I really appreciate about Valentin is his love for animals, especially dogs. And obviously, if you follow me at all and follow Melissa and I, you obviously see that dogs are a big part of our life, and we animals are a big deal for us. So and Tony Jard, how strong, what a great deadlifter. I'm just giving you some examples. And and these are guys that live in different parts of the planet. They speak different languages, and I think we all had a really good time. And that to me is what it's all about. So take that for what it's worth. Again, all I want to do is instill some thought in you to think about beyond the boundaries of just in front of you. It's very hard in situations like this when there's so many things that are affecting us personally and directly, how we don't become kind of narrow-minded and closed-minded, and that again, I will tell you this, the more that I do for others, the more that it seems like it comes back to me. And again, that's why I'm such a proponent of let's take care of each other. It always comes back. It always comes around. And it's not just like what goes around comes around. If you're, that it will come back to haunt you. What if we're just decent to each other? What if we're just good to one another and care about each other? Why can't that be the thing that goes around and comes around? So just think about that. And man, everybody have a great day. Stay healthy. Stay safe. God bless you.